Hey guys, it's Sarah. I thought today I'd tell you a little bit about my experience working for Southwestern Advantage. I actually did it last summer, so it's been about a year since I've done it. I just thought, I looked and researched it so much whenever I was approached for working for the company that I thought it's helpful for, prospective dealers and also for parents worried about people coming to their door of what really the lowdown is on the company. So I thought I'd tell you from the dealer's perspective and from working for the company what it's really like and what it's about. So what it is, they sell books for toddlers all the way up to all getting ready to college. They say, well, basically they sell AP stuff too. So they say scholarly high schoolers or whatever. And it's not a scam. If you order from them, you will get the books, and they are actually a really good product. But so I can understand why people don't really like door-to-door salespeople and why it can be scary. So I just wanted to first of all say that they're not gonna kidnap your kids, and it's not a creepy sex trafficking thing or anything like that. But it's actually, it's a valid company that has pretty good books. So I just want to talk for those prospective dealers. Well, that's kind of before is what I wanted to say for parents in case they're actually scared. But I'm just going to go into the nitty-gritty of the company now for anyone who's thinking about doing it, of my own personal experience with it. So for recruitment, basically they'll call you and they'll say, hey, would you like to be part of something where you're gonna make a lot of money and get an internship and stuff like that. And basically any broke college, they'll say something like, would you like to make $8,000 this summer and get internship experience or something like that? And every college kid wants that, so of course you're gonna be tempted to go. So the recruitment's pretty good, and then so they make you go through a process of getting approved or whatever to be in the program, and they do that to make you feel it's super exclusive and not everyone can do it and all this. And they say you don't have to think you're good at sales or have a sales background to be successful, which is true, but they make you pretty much it's 3 different steps of the interview process, and then they pretty much make you promise you're not gonna quit, and no matter how hard it gets, you're gonna stay in the program. They tell you that it's gonna be really hard, and that that you're not gonna make money at first, and that it's gonna be hard and you're gonna want to quit, but then you just kind of underestimate what they're saying. And then you online you'll look up all the stats, and it's oh, people are actually making money. I have decent social skills, so I think I can do this. If anyone can do it, I can do it. And so yeah, I ended up doing it, and they, I promised them I would do it, and before I did this, I told them that I had anxiety, because I do, and so I thought maybe that would kind of be something that hurt me for that. But my recruiter was a psychology major, and she was oh yeah, this will help you with your anxiety because you'll be able to it'll teach you to break it by exposure therapy or whatever. And of course I know what exposure therapy is, and I've heard of it and everything. I know what it is. So I was okay, well, that sounds a little counterintuitive, but I'll trust you, because obviously you know what you're doing because you've done it for so many years and so many people do it. And so they basically try to recruit kids that are desperate for money. I'm paying for my entire college myself, so that I was a perfect candidate. I didn't have parents, so there wasn't anyone to tell me, don't do this, it's really stupid. So fast forwarding to the training week, they basically just get you hyped about the summer, and you practice your script over and over. It's a full script. They give you plenty, they give you, you're supposed to memorize it before the training week, but if you don't have it memorized before the training week, you can get it memorized there. You just have to work really hard. And then they'll say, like, oh, if you make so many sales, you get to go to Sizzler, which is like, basically it's like a Mexico vacation that's paid for if you make a certain number of sales. So they kind of like bait you with that as well and say, like, kind of try to, as an incentive almost. And the training week's actually really good. Like, they have cool speakers. Like, I think Miss Tennessee came because she's like kind of connected to the company. Like, she wasn't a dealer herself, but she like really endorsed it or whatever. And then this guy called, I think his name was Mort Utley, or I mean they called him Mort. He's dead now, I think, but they would play videos of him like doing motivational speeches. He's a salesperson, and he was a really good speaker. And so basically the training week goes there, and then you have to re-promise your entire, because you're in like teams, and then your team like makes a commitment to each other that no one's gonna quit and it's all gonna go great, basically. And you try to build up team spirit. Like, that's basically the entire purpose of the training week. And then so they tell you, like, when they're recruiting you, then they'll be like, so you can't afford to buy a hotel every night because that gets really expensive and you're gonna be gone the entire summer. So they'll say, we have like 80% or more of our housing figured out, but for the other 20% you find it yourself. And it's more like, I would say maybe 10% they already have, and then the other 90% you have to actually find yourself. And so by doing that, the way you do that is going literally door to door, knocking, asking. You do it indirectly so you don't like seem super, super weird, and which it just like made me super uncomfortable. I was raised like to where that's weird, to like going knocking door to door trying to look for housing, but you're not like, you're basically saying, do you have any friends that have ever been like a host family for a missionary or a foreign exchange student? And obviously you're not a missionary, you're not a foreign exchange student, but you're basically just looking for cheap housing. And then that's kind of weird if you come up to someone's house asking that, or like, I don't know, it just kind of made me uncomfortable. But I personally ended up finding a house with a super nice old lady, and it was a great experience with who I ended up living with. However, I know that a few people on my team did not have that luxury, and they were living in like a kind of sketchy house. So that's saying that. And yeah, you don't always like get a good house. It can be really crappy, and it's kind of scary. So basically, like, as far as any parents watching or even students, trying to get the light to, I don't know, maybe it'll refocus. Lighting. So when you're going door to door, you are asking, well, in order to figure out if the house has kids without like actually like being like, do you have kids? You just say, hi, you must be the mom of the house, or you must be the dad of the house. And if they say, no, I don't have kids, then you're like, okay, sorry, like, I'm not gonna waste your time, basically. And if they say, yeah, I'm the mom or whatever, then you continue with your script. But so that's just kind of what that part is for. And like, it's not a gimmick. Like, you can sell the books, but it's really hard, and they tell you that. But anyway, so, and then if they don't have kids, or after you're done talking to them, another thing you'll ask is, hey, like, in order to save me a little bit of time and not bother people, do you not mind telling me, I want to like save people the time. Do you mind telling me if this house has kids, if this house has kids, if this house has kids, and you like point directly to the house. And then sometimes people are like, oh, I'm not comfortable telling you that or whatever, and I just like, okay, that's fine. but a lot of times they'll tell you like which houses have kids, so that you're not wasting your time like when you're going door to door. And so that's really helpful. And so yeah, that's like pretty much like the creepy side of the company, is you don't know where you're gonna go. They don't tell you until right before you go. The recruitment is sketchy because they make you make a lot of promises and you don't get paid. Like, it's all on commission. Like, if you don't sell a book, you make 0 cents and you have all that money wasted. They make you buy, well, they don't make you, but they highly advise you buy an iPad, like whatever, LTE, or I don't know what that's called, but like internet for your iPad. And they make you, the gas money in the car to get out there and to go where, because first you have to go to Nashville, and then you'll have to go to wherever you're like destined or whatever. I don't know how to describe that. Assigned, I guess. And so yeah, that's just a lot of gas money and stuff. So if you're gonna do it, you gotta make sure you're gonna do it. But I would say like my experience, I would, like, if someone asked me if I would do it again, hell no. It was horrible and I hated it so much. But that being said, I do not regret doing it. It was quite an experience. I'd say, like, of the things I learned, it would be like to use a natural tone of voice in sales. That's one thing I learned, because like, typically you hear like, hi, how can I help you? But you really just want to talk like this and like just be yourself and talk like a normal person. Even when you're like talking, almost like, when you talk to kids, you go baby voice, or when you're talking to parents about their kids, you go baby voice. But the good thing to do is just really be yourself and not try to change your tone of voice and not try to be like overly peppy, just because it seems more real. And that's like a really big thing that I learned that I think will help me for the rest of my life. And another thing I learned was I got way out of my comfort zone, especially like when I was talking about how we looked for housing, like literally asking door to door, like, where I can live. But it's not like you're doing it indirectly, so it's not horrible, but it still makes you feel like super uncomfortable because you're like basically like homeless. You are homeless, and it's not even basic. You're homeless. You don't know where you're gonna live. It's scary, and it's creepy because you feel like you're inconveniencing people. And so I'd say like it really taught me to get out of my comfort zone. It taught me, to get my butt out of bed and what a full day has to offer. And I think they really enforce it. They tell you about how much that is in training, but it really does change you. Like, I'm trying to fix the lighting. I was not a morning person before I did it. Like, I literally like woke up at 10:30 or 11. I mean, I'm a college student, but yeah, so it was just, and whenever I'm back now, I'm a morning person because I discovered like I don't want to waste my day. I don't want to waste the daylight, and it really showed me that I am capable of waking up that early and of, not getting a ton of sleep, and how much I can do in a day. And the other thing it taught me is that it's okay to change your mind on a big commitment, because like I said, I did do the program. However, I quit in the middle of it because, like I said, like I pay for my college, and like I am in charge of providing for myself. So if I don't make money, like I can't go to school. And like they pretty much, they're like, oh yeah, on average you make like over $8,000. So I was like, I know, like $8,000 per, it sounds good to me. And this is just for summer. So I was like, yeah. And I was like, I have good social skills. Like if the average person can do it, I'm sure I can do it. But the thing is, those stats that they're including are not including the people who quit. I'm gonna tell you right now, like, I say that I don't remember how many were on my team. There was a lot, probably like at least like it was, I'd say like 15 to 20 on my team. And I think there was about 4 left by the time I left, and I only stayed for three weeks or whatever. They like tell you have to stay for 3 weeks, I think, and before you can like, you know, really get a good idea. And I did stay for 3 weeks, and it was just horrible. Like, I just didn't make money, but you know, I learned a lot about myself. And you know, I personally, if I would have been like had a lot of money and had money to waste, and like money wasn't an issue, and mommy and daddy paid for my school and all the stuff I needed, then you know, I probably would have stayed, just because I don't like going back on my word. But you know, sometimes you have to make big girl decisions, and for me, I couldn't afford to lose that money, because summer is how I really make my money. But anyway, so that third big thing, I guess third or fourth, whatever, I don't know how many I said, is that it's okay to go back on a big commitment. And that really helped me later down the road when I decided to change my major. So it taught me something really big that was like, you know, it's okay. And it ended up turning out for the better that I quit, but also I don't regret the experience. So I'm going to talk a little bit about highs and lows. So as my highs for my experience, you know, like obviously like the learning part was the best part of it. The highs were that my very first like day working, going door to door, I think my third or fourth house, there was a super nice guy, and he answered the door, and he didn't even have kids, but he like was interested and was like willing to listen to my whole demo. And it wasn't like in a creepy way. It wasn't like he was like trying to like lure me in or whatever. And like, you're not supposed to go into the house if there's not a female present. So yeah, but yeah, he was just a super nice guy, and he made me feel really good. And he told me that I was doing well, and he knew that he felt that I was going to do well over the summer. And so that was a really good experience. And obviously he didn't have kids, so I didn't want to waste my time there. But he ended up like messaging me on Facebook like a month later and was like, hey, I was just thinking about you, and I hope you're doing well. And that really made me feel good that I had that big of an impact on him, that he would still be thinking of me. And then I'd say my second high would be, I went to this lady's house, and she was like a preschool teacher, and she was making pancakes for her kids' breakfast, because you have to start like 7:30 a.m. So like it was pretty early in the morning, and she offered to make me pancakes, and I didn't end up staying and eating, because I mean, you're not supposed to like waste time and eat with people, but I thought that was really kind of her to, you know, invite me to do that, and so I thought that was really nice. And then my third high, I'd say, was my host month. And that being said, that definitely does not happen with everyone, so don't go in expecting that you're going to get this great host family, because, you know, I think I just got lucky. But she was like super nice, and she was really old and cute, and just a really good person to be around. And so for the lows, I would say, like, first of all, everyone quit. I mean, it sucked so bad. Like, literally everyone quit. It was absolutely horrible. I know, like, even one of my leaders that had, like, done it before got bit by a dog. Like, it was terrible. People are just rude to you all the time. I'd say, like, it was, like, the first time, like, anyone, like, I look pretty innocent, you know, I'm like a little girl who's like not intimidating, you know, I'm like 5'3", so it's not like I'm not a scary person, but people are just like super rude to you, and they just treat you like you're trash, and like you're trying to, like, almost like you're trying to steal with them, or like steal from them or scam them. And I mean, I guess it can come off that way because they don't know anything about the company, they don't know about you. But also, I want to add in there that the company makes you sign some contract that you're an independent contractor, so that if, like, something bad happens, they're not in charge of you. So I just want to throw that out there. So, like, if something bad happens, they can just be like, screw you, pretty much. So, and then a really big low of mine was, that, like, you know, obviously, like, you try to be as nice as possible to everyone, even if they're, like, really rude to you. And I remember this one day, this lady was, just, like, exponentially rude to me, and I had had a really hard day already. Like, you know, I'd already put up with a lot of people being rude to me, and she just would not give me the time of day. I told her, you know, like, even if you don't want to buy anything, that's okay, but it helps me out on my numbers if I can just at least show you what I have, and it'll take like 30 seconds. And she was like, I don't care, I don't want to see it. And I was like, I was so frustrated at this point. I was like, you know, like, it really helps me out if you can just look at it for like literally like 20-30 seconds. And she was like, no. And I was just like, and she was just like, I don't remember, this was a year ago, so I don't remember all the details, but she was just like super rude about it. And I was like in a huffy, and I'm pretty sure I just like, I didn't yell at her, but I remember wanting to really badly. And I was just ashamed, because, not of myself, of her, because, like, this lady had kids. Like, you know, her neighbors told me she had kids, so, like, I knew she had kids. And I was just, like, ashamed of, like, you know, her treating a child like that. Like, I mean, I was, in a way, like, I'm sort of a child, you know, like, that's embarrassing. I would never, ever treat someone like that in the first place, and I would never expect or allow. I would be so embarrassed if a parent were to treat someone like that in front of me. And, you know, her kids were there, so, like, they're seeing this behavior, and it was just so awful. And I was just like, this sucks, like, that's really a horrible thing. But anyway, that was kind of a rant. So, basically, moral of the story is, I lost a lot of money doing it, and I would not do it again. I would not advise my friends to do it, but I do not regret it, and I did gain a lot of knowledge, just, like, personally, and, like, you know, just, I think it will, obviously not putting it on my resume since I quit, so that's not even an advantage, but I think it did help me to grow as a person and to push myself to the limit and to really challenge myself. So yeah, that's what I have to say about Southwestern Advantage. I hope you enjoyed the video, and give me a thumbs up if this was helpful, and feel free to let me know your experience in the comment, or, you know, parents out there, let me know how, if you bought the books or if you didn't, you know, whatever. So have a good day.